Good day to you all, guys and girls. This is Mike here on Miketendo64, and we have a very, very exclusive interview with the legendary composer Grant Kirkhope to talk about this guy in Smash. Now, when I saw the reveal for Banjo in Super Smash Bros, I was out of my mind. It's something that I've been wanting for years, basically for years. It is really, really incredible, and it was a really, really emotional moment for me to be able to see Banjo in Smash. And then shortly after the reveal, Grant Kirkhope himself actually did a video on his Twitter to reveal that he actually composed the music for the reveal, and that song will be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in the DLC pack that comes out in fall. So we thought we would try to snag an exclusive interview with Grant Kirkhope to talk about Banjo-Kazooie in Smash, and also about Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, and some of the other games that Grant has worked on as well. So I hope you've got about 15 minutes to spare, because this is what an interview.
Okay, Grant, well, thank you very much for joining me for this exclusive interview. It's an absolute honour and a pleasure to be able to talk with you, and this is the third time I think we've spoken. One time was for a podcast, and another time you actually spoke with my brother, Jack. You did an interview when it was for Yooka-Laylee.
Yes.
When Yooka-Laylee was coming to the Switch.
That's right, yeah.
So I've done a whole list of questions to ask you. Whether I'll be able to ask you them all is a different story, but we'll try.
All right.
So first of all, how does it make you feel to know that there are still so many people out there that just love Banjo-Kazooie?
Yeah, no, I always kind of found that hard to quantify, you know, because I kind of look at my Twitter and I see there's so many followers on Twitter, and I think, is that it? You know, it's hard to... I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, you know, I know how many the first game sold, but I don't know how many the Xbox Live version or the Rare Replay version have sold since. It's just really hard to quantify. I just don't know.
Now, I've seen a number of Banjo Smash reveal reaction videos on YouTube from the likes of Austin John Plays, Andre Black Nerd, and so many other popular YouTubers. But my favourite reaction was the audience at Nintendo New York when they saw the live Smash Banjo reveal, and that was just incredible. What's been your favourite reaction video so far?
That was a good one. I haven't seen Andre's, actually. I know Andre. I need to watch his. Because I think that I wasn't used to... My Twitter went crazy, right? So things just scroll past at a million miles an hour. So I've missed tons of stuff. So I'm trying to go back through it to find people's reaction videos, because it was so fantastic. And, you know, that I kind of feel that's really genuinely touching on a really human level. I think that to see people completely lose it with happiness, you know,
Yes,
it really, it's absolutely, it's just that raw emotion, you know, when you get someone who really cries when they're really sad, when they really laugh when they're really happy, you know. And I think that they're so touching, those videos. And when those guys in the New York Nintendo store, you know, went crazy. I mean, we launched Mario Rabbids there, me and Davide did, back in 2 years ago. We know the guys there, and like so know the store very well, and you know, incredible. They went absolutely crazy, you know. And there's another guy that was just sat on his bed. And he was kind of talking to his friends. I think I can find it on Twitter. I'm just here, and he went absolutely ballistic as well. It was just like, I don't know what his name is. I'm nearly there now. I'll find it. It was looks like Skyhawk JD. Looks like Jonathan Skyhawk JD, and like he just went completely ballistic as well. I mean, yeah, I'm not really used to that. You know, like it was just, it's completely heartwarming, and
it is.
All like human stuff. You know, all that really is.
I mean, when the reveal came up, and now we already had the Dragon Quest Hero reveal for Smash, and we always knew there was going to be one. Sakurai even said it a few days before the Direct. And then so we got that out of the way, and then everyone was like, okay, so, you know, we've got our Smash reveal. And then it started up with, like, the Donkey Kong comes up onto the screen, he's snoring, very much like the King K. Rool reveal trailer. And then you have King K. Rool laying next to him, snoozing along. And then you see the Jiggy bounce past. And it's like, hang on a second, I know that. That's a Jiggy. Yeah. And then you have Duck Hunt duo, you know, laughing in the background going, ha, 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 ha. And I was just saying to myself, he said, oh, this is exactly like the DDD. Just get him out of the way. Just bring on Smash. My heart can't take it anymore. And then as he came on, my heart just leapt for joy. It was absolutely beautiful to see. It really, really was. And then shortly afterwards, you announced that you did the music for the trailer, and that you're doing the music for the game as well, the DLC for it. And that must be really, really incredible stuff. that Nintendo actually reached out to you.
No, it's amazing. I mean, so I did that track that's in the trailer, and that track actually is in the game. That's so they did it for that. No, I mean, when they first contacted me, I didn't, I wasn't quite sure what they wanted because they're super secretive. They just sort of they were very vague in what they sent to me, the email that I got, and I thought, is it Banjo and Smash? But then I kept thinking to myself, they always get the Japanese guys to do the remixes, and they do a really fantastic job, but they don't need me to do that. So I kind of thought, and then I thought maybe it's some kind of Mario Rabbids character is going to be in Smash. I thought it's probably going to be that. And I didn't find until about a month later that it was Banjo. So that was crazy. I just thought, I get hit up on Twitter a lot about people saying Banjo for Smash, like constantly over the years, And I've always genuinely said, I'll believe it when I see it, because I really thought they would never do it. I really believed that. So I had to kind of maintain that facade for a couple of months, because I was like, I knew in January, really, around about January. So I had to keep it going, and the people were going on about it like I'd literally say, I'm just popping out to get the groceries, and people would be like, Banjo 3, Banjo, literally just described that as being Banjo 3 or Banjo in Smash. So I had to kind of avoid it all the time. And I kept trying to dump it down as much as I could. Sort of say, I don't believe it, pigs might fly, etc., etc. And even someone construed pigs might fly to be that it is in Banjo is in the game.
With flying pigs, why not? Yeah.
I just couldn't, no matter what I said, people just thought it was, So I had to be careful.
I mean, it's something that people have wanted since Melee, but since the falling out between Rare and, well, not so much a falling out, when Rare was bought out by Nintendo. And I suppose things were so much harder then as regards to having characters come in. And now we've seen in Smash Bros, we've had the likes of Solid Snake, we've had Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy. Shortly later, Final Fantasy VII is now on the Nintendo Switch. And of course, that's the next thing. Now that Banjo is in Smash, people are starting to look, is Banjo-Kazooie coming to the Nintendo Switch? There was even a listing on Amazon Germany for Banjo-Kazooie on Switch. And it's like, do you know anything about this?
I know. I saw that. I mean, I honestly, hand on heart, I'm not lying, I didn't know a thing about that. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, who knows? I just honestly don't know.
A lot of people would like to see, for example, Rare Replay come to the Nintendo Switch. And now with the good relationship that Microsoft has with Nintendo, it would really, really be nice to see that happening. Even if Nintendo has to sacrifice, say, Donkey Kong Country to be in the Xbox version, I'm sure that's some kind of a deal they can come to, don't you think?
Yeah, no, I suppose at the end of the day, it's going to be out of money, right? Like, it's always, gamers, I think, sometimes forget that it is still a business and that it's not a charity. And, like, companies do things for cash. So if they can agree on money, then I expect, anything's possible, really. But, I mean, I don't, I've get asked about another Banjo game. I don't know whether the appetite's there for another Banjo game. I really don't know that,
That is true. Now, because obviously what has happened afterwards with like Banjo, Nuts and Bolts, the series has completely took a completely different direction, and the positivity or even mixed reactions really with Yooka-Laylee, it started off really, really positive. Then it became like mixed reactions, but the more positive reviews came from when it was on Nintendo Switch, because the fan base has always been there for platformers. It's always been like the go-to console for platformers. And, people do enjoy Yooka-Laylee. I enjoyed playing Yooka-Laylee. It was one of my favourite games on the Nintendo Switch as well. And when I saw the pagey come up that says Crazy Kirkhope will return again. And you did. You returned for Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, alongside David Wise, of course.
Yeah.
So how was the relationship between you and David when you was doing that? And how did you keep it secret when you was working with him? Or did you do the music before you found out about Banjo and Smash?
I couldn't tell Dave about that. I think me and Dave know, because we both work on things we can't tell each other, obviously. Yeah. So I just couldn't tell him. And he wouldn't expect me to tell him either. Like, he knows that we have to keep things secret between each other. Oh, sure. Me and Dave get along great. At the end of Rare, we both played in the same pub rock band, for a while. I was a singer, he was a sax player, keyboard player, and another guitar player, and we just did pubs for a laugh. And we've got a lot in common about that kind of stuff. Dave does great work, no doubt about it. So I think on the Yooka-Laylee Impossible Lair, he's done more than I have this time. I kind of feel Yooka-Laylee was more in my domain because it was a 3D platformer. Because this is a 3D side scroll, it made more sense for Dave to do more than me this time. So I've done the 3D overworld is a bit that I've done. He's done the 2D levels, along with the two guys that work at Playtonic as well, Matt and Dan. They've probably written most of the music actually. Me and Dave have done the least amount of music compared to those two. Yeah, it's getting great.
It's your names that are in the credits and not theirs, unfortunately.
Well,
when you saw the reveal trailer, it goes David Wise and Grant Kirkhope. You didn't say, Matt and Dan, and you do kind of feel bad for them, really.
Yeah, but I think as publicity goes on, hopefully, I did mail them the other day to say, look, you better make sure you get your names in there. You're just going to get steamrolled by me and Dave, because people latch onto our names for publicity, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like Matt and Dan have done most of the music, so I'm sure at some point it's going to start to come out that me and Dave have done the least amount. But right now, it looks like the tracks, it's not trying to sell it, but our names catch people's eyes more than Dan and Matt.
Of course they do. I mean, you're very widely known now. I mean, you're a household name, so to speak, with the likes of Yooka-Laylee, with the likes of Banjo-Kazooie, even though your name was latched onto A Hat in Time, even though I think you only did the overworld for that, or the hub world music. You did do the full soundtrack for it.
Yeah, 2 tunes. I think I did the spaceship hub level. The theme. I did a main theme. That was it too. Yeah.
And then there was the Ghostbusters 2016. I believe you've worked on as well.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about the now? Is getting a reboot? The actual Ghostbusters movie is getting a reboot by Saber Interactive. Are you by any part connected to the music for that?
No, not at all. So I doubt it either. I did Ghostbusters because a friend of mine, Chris Tramiel, we've known for years, was the director on that game. So he said, "Do you want to do it, Grant?" So I said yes. So yeah, that's why I did that. I did it. I only had a month to do it. I had to do it really super quick because they wanted to get it out. So that was a big rush job. So it was, great fun to do, but it was rushed. I had to get on with it.
Mm. And have you got any other projects in the pipeline after Smash? Obviously, you're still working on the compositions for the Smash Bros. DLC. Have you got any other projects afterwards?
That's wrong. I've got 1 tune in Smash. That's it.
That's it. That's all you've got so far that you're allowed to say. You can't say whether you've got any more in it.
No, honestly, that's it. I've done 1 tune. The rest will be done by the remixers in Japan.
Oh, okay.
And maybe some tracks from the original game, I don't know. But because they keep the Smash composers very separate. So I did 1 tune, that's it. I've done no more. All
right, then. That's a big shame, because I'm sure a lot of people really, really like to hear your music again in Smash Bros. I mean, the Spiral Mountain was absolutely incredible. I've got it as my ringtone now.
Yeah, but they will. They've got, the other remixer guys are going to remix my tunes, right? So I've not heard those yet, but I know there are remix tunes in there. So there will be a whole slew of. I mean, most characters get quite a few tunes, don't they, in Smash? So
they do.
I'm sure there'll be that many just done by other people, not by me. So it will be my music, just somebody else remixing it.
Well, with any luck, perhaps the music video that you did with Family Jewels for the Banjo-Kazooie final fight, the final battle tune, that'll make it in, because that was really, really epic. And I did watch that a couple of months ago when it was first shown. And man, you can shred. You really can shred the guitar. Well,
I was metal guitar player in the good old days, right? Before I worked at Rare, so that's what I used to do. So, I was reasonably handy I'm not very good now, but I was reasonably handy in those days. So, I mean, I think that tune would be really cool in Smash. As I say, it's not in there, but it would have been really cool, to add that in. I've not heard it. I mean, I just really honestly don't know. I think for me, it'd be really cool to hear what the remix guys do with my music in Smash. It's going to be really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Because those do a great job with the remixes. They're always really good. So, I'm sure it'll be really cool to hear. I just haven't heard any. Because, Nintendo, I think they only really let you see the bits you need to see. So, so when they sent me a little video of the fight stage, so I knew it was Spiral Mountain, but it didn't have Banjo fighting on it. It was 4 of the characters. I can't remember what they were. So I knew the fight stage was that. But I didn't see Banjo. So the first time I saw Banjo was in the trailer, just like you guys. And I hadn't seen the trailer either. So when I wrote the music for the game, they said to me, "We like it. We're going to put it in the trailer." I was super honoured that and I kind of assumed that it would be a little bit of my tune and some little bits of the other guys' tunes all just on a string together, the compilation.
Yeah.
when it came to see it, it was just my music, and I was just blown away, you know. So that was mega special. But I'm looking forward to hear what the other remixes sound like. You know, I think they're going to be super cool.
I'm sure they're going to do a really, really good job, but it's not going to be yours. Let's face it. I mean, yours is just top notch. I mean, we've all listened to it for years. You know what I mean? I mean, one of my first games on the Nintendo 64 was Banjo-Kazooie, and I fell in love with it. And I always have a huge respect for Rare because it was a British developer. And you do still feel a little bit proud for, you know, like your home nation kind of thing has created something that's on the same level as these huge, like powerhouses like Nintendo, like, you know, these are big American companies as well. And there's like little Rare in the corner that's just managed to make so many incredible games over the years.
Yeah, it was certainly a golden time back then. And I really attribute that to kind of Tim and Chris Stamper, the two guys that ran the place, the two brothers. Like, you know, they had a real magical touch, I feel. For me, I work more closely with Tim Stamper than Chris, just because of the way it worked out. And I don't know, like when Tim and Chris left, I really missed their input an awful lot. I think it's part of the reason why I left in the end, really. And prior to that, Tim and Chris, they used to be actually on the game teams themselves. But after a while, they had to kind of leave the team to become more management, you know, because it just got more of a bigger concern, you know. And I missed Tim's input. Tim was one of those guys that no matter what you did, I'd play the piece of music and say, that's great. What about this? There's always a what about at the end of it. And it made you go, oh yeah, I never thought of that. He always had another idea for you just to try and add something in. It's that little stroke of genius, I think, that made Rare such a special place. And all the teams were super switched on. I really felt at that time in that little bubble of Rare's history that we all felt it was like us against the world. You know, we really felt like we're this little people in this little manor farmhouse in Twycross in the Midlands, in the middle of nowhere, with fields and cows and hens and chickens and all that stuff, you know. And it's just that little bubble of people that we really felt us against the world. So we all tried, you know, and also I think Rare's legacy was so strong from Ultimate Play the Game. All the games they made back in the day, they were also super successful. So there's a magic touch that came from the Stamper family that just bled into the rest of us, you know.
So most of the music, I mean, it all has a very, very familiar theme or tune. Now, when people contact you, or developers, do they say, you know, this is how we want it to sound? Or do they say, we want it to be you, we want it to be, you know, it has your identity in it? Is that what you chose? Did you choose that jaunty kind of beat bop kind of theme? Or where did it come from originally? What made you choose that type of music that you do, that you are so affiliated with now?
So when it was Dream originally, back in the, you know, I did GoldenEye first, and I went to Dream before it became Banjo. And Dream was more of an RPG sort of a Zelda type, you know, top down, you know, kind of a RPG game, and it switched to platform. So I was just trying to write jolly platform music. That's what in my head. So because I did it before, like, you know, I was new to the company, you know. So the first tune I wrote when they changed it, I wrote was actually Click Clock Woods. The spring of that. So I wrote that just because I had nothing to write to. I just sort of I tried to write a jolly piece of music. So I felt that was and they said, yeah, we think that's in the right vein. So I left that alone then, and I went back to start the game. So I actually had a different set of tunes for Mumma's Mountain and Treasure Trove Cove. And after that, I kind of hit upon that kind of umpa, tritony, quirky thing that kind of Banjo's known for. So I was trying to find a way to pitch the characters against each other. Like Banjo's a bit, you know, stupid because he was quite sarcastic and clever. I felt like they were opposites. So I tried to find music that would reflect that oddball oppositeness, you know. So I think it was after those two that I kind of hit upon it. And I listened to Danny Elfman's Beetlejuice quite a lot at that point. It's got a really quirky, it's a dark horror movie. Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of got it from there. And that's what made me, what's this? What that is. And so, you know, so I kind of got it from there. And then I went through all the game, and then Chris Stamper said to me, we think the first two levels don't fit compared to the rest of the game. So I went back and revisited Mumba's Mountain and made it more quirky, and I went back to Treasure Trove Cove and made it a bit more quirky and changed the tunes altogether. But when it came to Click Clock Woods, I just felt like that original piece that I wrote kind of fitted, so I stuck it in there and then did the other version for summer, winter, and autumn, you know.
And then became one of the penultimate levels in the game.
Yeah, so it wasn't intended to be that. It was a general tune that I wrote, but it ended up there. So the quirkiness was, I kind of felt like there's no point in me trying to copy that Nintendo jazzy style, poppy style, because they're really great at that, and I'm crap at it. I'd make a mess of it, you know. So I kind of thought I need to find something that could be possibly different. And, you know, I didn't think it would last all these years. You know, I thought it would be like, people forget about it in 6 months like you normally do, you know. But the Banjo music just needs to keep going on forever and ever and ever. So
it does. And, you know, people still listen to it, and it's one of the most iconic things of it as well. I mean, if you see anything about Banjo appear, then you automatically start hearing the songs in your head. So, you know, Spiral Mountain does play, or like that theme music from the very, very beginning where, you know, you got Mumbo on the xylophone and Kazooie playing along, and then Tutti and all that. So all this music comes to it, and it's so iconic, it's so impressionable, and it just sticks with you.
I know, it's, you know, it's, as a composer, like, it's super gratifying and humbling to think that something that I wrote has stuck that long in people's heads. You know, like, you know, I guess you hope for that, but you never really know. And I think like the question before, I waffle on, right, but people, I think no matter what people ask me for to do on any game that I work on from now until the day I die, I kind of feel that no matter what I do, you can't help but get your personality that comes out. You write music in a certain way. You know, it's a bit like if I hear Brian May playing guitar, I know it's him a mile away because he just plays a certain way. Yeah. Or Eddie Van Halen, I can tell it's him because he just sounds. It's the way he does vibrato, the little phrasing that he uses. I recognise it, and I think everybody's got that little signature sound of their own that you can't help but have because it just comes out of you that way. You write music in a certain way. You think about harmony a certain way, or a certain set of chord sequences, whatever it is. So I really feel that I just have that in my head. So even doing Mario Rabbids, there's still bits in that game I think you could probably pick out as being maybe slightly Banjo-esque, just because it's just because of the way I write stuff, you know. So yeah, I mean, you know, I don't really try to avoid it. I think in Mario Rabbids I was trying to write something that was different if I could. It just comes out. It's just the way you write stuff, right? The way I play guitar, it's just me. It's just the way I do it. Everybody else will be just different, you know.
Well, I've got a couple more. Well, say a couple more. I've got tons of more questions to ask you. So, going back to Yooka-Laylee, when did you start writing the music for Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair?
I can't remember. Well, it's probably last year at some point. I feel like I did a little bit at the start, and then waited a bit, and then did a bit more, waited a bit, and then I did one more tune for the final Possible Lair bit. So that was probably like September last year. I feel like I finished it off. So I must have been working on it through last year, bits and pieces, probably. Yeah, something like that.
So on the back end of finishing with the Donkey Kong Adventure DLC music, you pretty much started slightly after that then?
Maybe, yeah, because I finished that probably like, I finished the DLC for proper, maybe like January, maybe something like that, I reckon, last year. Yeah. But then I had to do that piece for the EP that I had to conduct that piece. I had to write that, and that took a little bit to get right, because they had to get it right with the band, and I had to get it right with the video. I wanted to match the video exactly, so I had to wait for that to get finished off. So that was quite close to the start of E3 when I finished it. And then after that, I think that was more, I guess E3 was more or less the end of the DLC for Mario Rabbids. Yeah.
And has Davide been in touch with perhaps a possible sequel or maybe another project in the works?
Well, Davide hates me now, so he won't talk to me anymore because Davide has become the Italian video game personality of the year. So he's now a diva. He's super. He sits on a big golden throne in the studio, and he wears a crown. And all the staff have to bow as they come in when he by the door, and he just hands out.
Much like Conker then in Conker's Bad Fur Day. Is that what we're getting at?
That's exactly like that. So he's a bit unapproachable these days. He's got a bit of an ego now, you know. So I have to be careful.
You do seem to have a love-hate relationship. You love to hate him, and he hates that he loves you.
No, I love him. Like he's, we spoke probably. I mean, every day for 3 years about Rabbids, and also Romain Briot, who's the audio director there in Paris. And like we literally spoke every day, so we have a great laugh, you know. So I love Davide to death. And I think what I like about Davide is he's a genuine, and this might sound daft, but he's a genuine, passionate gamer. Like he just everything he does for that game, he's always got the thinking about the player in mind, not about the look of it or the prestige, anything like that. Any decision he makes about any game he works on. Is about the player. He thinks about that so deeply No, I love Davide. We're best mates now, so he's a top lad. So I like him a lot.
During the Ubisoft conference, there was an announcement for a television show that they're doing with Netflix or something. And I really feel they've made a missed opportunity there. I really think that it should have been a sitcom with you and Davide. I'm sure a lot more people would really want to see that.
I know, like we joke about like driving around Italy in a car eating because he likes to eat, right? And just like just being that one with what's his name? Not Polcart. Alan Partridge. What's his name? Paul. What's his place?
Yes. I know it, and it won't come to my mind. Oh my God, I feel so bad.
But there's that Welsh guy drive around eating, don't they? I remember
Yes.
And I feel like me and Davide could do that perfectly because he'd be like eating like gazillion steaks a day, you know. And I feel like that we joke about doing that as a funny thing. So yeah, I think that sitcom with me and Davide is definitely on the cards.
I'd watch it, even if it's a YouTube original or a Netflix show. I'm sure me and a million others would definitely watch it.
He's a good. He's great funny.
I've got a few interesting questions now. These are from some of the guys on my team, and also from other people that I've talked to through YouTube and through Twitter and everything. So I'm going to start off with probably the weirdest one yet. It's from Kieran from Nintendad. He asks, since you both share a love for Yorkshire tea, can he call you Dad?
I'm sure I'm older than him. Yes. Yeah. It's so weird that when someone said to me, what's your favourite tea? And I put Yorkshire Gold, and Yorkshire Tea saw it. And they sent me a massive box full of Yorkshire Tea. Couldn't believe it. My wife was like, my God, we're still drinking it. It's been a year's supply of it. And because when I lived in England, right, after I moved from Scotland, I lived in Nares, and Yorkshire Tea is made in Harrogate, right? So Harrogate's the time that I spent most of my life growing up and getting drunk in. And it's it's ironic that... and they love Mary Rabbids, and I had a little bit of chat with them about it. And they sent us this massive box of tea. I got a proper tea apron, a little toy cars. I got the lot. It was fantastic. I said we're still drinking it.
Paul Murphy from Switch Player asks, what would be your dream Nintendo title to score, and how would you prepare for it? Do you have anything already prepared just in case?
No, I don't. But I guess I would like a shot at Zelda. That would be amazing. I kind of feel having done Mario Rabbids now, Mario was such an honour to do that. And I was, when I was a kid, right? Well, not a kid, but my favourite game of all time is still A Link to the Past. I think that's my favourite game. I think on the SNES, it was such a brilliant game. I played it over and over again. So, to get to play around with Zelda would be amazing. I'm never going to get it, because I've got like...
Talking of Zelda, now Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda. Now, that's also has your friend Family Jewels in it. He played the guitar in the game, which was announced shortly after it actually came out, along with a lot of other people. How did you feel of the musical compositions in the game? What's your theory, your verdict?
Well, also, don't forget Danny Baranowski, who did the soundtracks, the best mates, right?
Yes.
So me and Dad have been best mates for like probably 10 years, probably longer. We did Desktop Dungeons together on that. So I love Danny. I went to his wedding. He's a best friend. So so I was super made up for him when he got to do that game because I know he loves Zelda. Danny's great at that style of music. It's so good. Like it literally is the best version of those tunes you're going to hear, and like that. It's just brilliant. And Jules is a great guitar player, so it made total sense to me. So I haven't heard lots of it. I've only heard a little bit of it. Everyone says it's fantastic, and I don't doubt it. I mean, Danny did such a great a great job of the Crypt of the Necrodancer. I just knew Zelda would be fantastic without even hearing a note of it. I knew it'd be fantastic because Danny's a great composer. So no, I think it's a really fantastic thing. I think it's going to sell a gazillion nice.
Now, if the game gets DLC and they turn around to you and say, "Hey, Grant, would you like to add a little piece to this?" Would you do it? And would you do it for free?
About free?
Well.
I can agree on something, I'm sure. No, I'd love to. Yeah, of course I'd do it. I mean, it'd be an honour. I love that. That Zelda theme is so one of the best themes in video games ever. Like it's going to last forever. That theme. A fantastic tune that is. And that Link to the Past, as I say, for me, it's my favourite game of all time. I just think it's so full of great music. The plot's great. Just everything's perfect about it. Yeah, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Of course I
would. Richard Atkinson, he's also from Switch Player. He says, what's your favourite track from the original Banjo-Kazooie, and would you want to remaster tracks from that game? Would you remaster any of them?
You know, I get asked that a lot over the years, and I used to always sort of say Mad Monster Mansion, but it's probably Freeze Easy Pete now, I think, or maybe Atlantis. But I think Freeze Easy Pete's that's such a jolly tune, that Freeze Easy Pete, and it's so Christmassy. I just think probably that one. Like I'm not great at going back and redoing stuff. So when I did the Smash track, it for Dude Spiral Mountain, I couldn't quite decide what to do with it. But once I got I was thinking, thought, how can I do it? How can I do it? Once I got a style in my head, like in my mind, I was trying to do like an Indiana Jones treatment of it, a little bit like that. Even though it didn't sound like that to you, that was what's in my head. So once I got that in my head, I was like, oh yeah, I can see a path to do it now, and so yeah, I've often thought, after me and Jules did the guitar piece, for Grunty
the
Stick.
final battle,
yeah, we kind of thought it would be fun to do a whole Banjo-Kazooie album of do all the music on guitars, and that's still on our heads right now, so we still may do it. It's just finding time to do it. Because I've always
would you do a Kickstarter for that, or I'm sure a lot of people would buy it anyway.
Yeah, I think we just do it between us, and then just sell it. Over the years, I've often thought about doing a Banjo-Kazooie remix album of my own, and I've really wanted to do it, but I've just never got around to it. And I did start a little while ago and do a little bit, and then I kind of flagged, and I had more work to do. So I need a chunk of time where I'm not doing anything. But with Jules, I kind of felt that Jules put most of it together. I just played guitar on it, so that's a good possibility that we could do that. So I'm not saying we're going to do it, but we've certainly talked about it. And if I could find time, I think it would be good. I think it'd be fun to do the whole first game as a guitar thing, and try and work in some orchestral elements too, not just blanket guitar, but some metal stuff, some lighter stuff, some orchestral stuff, and stick it all together. I guess a bit like Nightwish in some respects. So who knows? Maybe, yeah.
Paul Lloyd, he asks, how has your gaming changed as you have become a parent and got older? Do you still get time to play, or do you just keep up to date with things that are happening in the gaming industry?
That one, I don't play hardly at all now. I haven't got the time. I can think because I've got two kids at school, and I'm the one that does all the school runs because my wife works, and so I'm working most of the time, and I have to get them and get the groceries. I don't really have time to play, but my son, who's 16, is an avid gamer, so I do watch him. And also, I think these days, if I need to work on something or be made aware of something, I can find plenty of videos on YouTube to watch about people already playing it. So rather than me trying to through it and get nowhere and get killed a million times, I can watch somebody who's good get to all the whole of the game, look at bits that I need to look at, take influences. So it's a great resource just to see the Let's Players do that kind of stuff. It helps me out. If I get to work on a game that I haven't played or don't know much about, I can find plenty of videos that will explain it to me. And I can hear the music, see what the game feels like, and get the gist of it. So I think that's more what I do these days. I don't play hardly at all. I just haven't got the time.
Mm. And with Super Mario Maker 2 on the way, will you be picking up the game? And will you be making any of your own levels?
I doubt it, but my son will. My son's really can't wait for that game. So you might see his name. I don't know what he calls himself, actually. But he's adamant he wants to try and build as many levels as he can. He wants to try and get his level up the kind of played, the level board, So he's super excited about that. Yeah.
Camjo, he asks, now that Banjo-Kazooie has a very distinct brand of quirky Oompa music that has become your signature style, you obviously have a lot of range, which is evidenced by soundtracks like Fever Pinata and Perfect Dark. But many recent games that you've worked on, such as Ghostbusters 2016 that we've touched on, Mario Rabbids, Hat in Time, and Chicken Wiggle Workshop, go for a similar type of sound to the Banjo games. He's wondering if you are specifically hired to do that type of music, like Yooka-Laylee, where the direction was literally, make it sound as much like Banjo as possible, or are you allowed to run wild, so to speak? Or is that just the music that you naturally like to compose?
So, obviously Yooka-Laylee, I was trying hard to make it sound like Banjo. I think my Rabbids doesn't sound like Banjo. I think there's elements in it that might sound like Banjo, but it's not all like that. I think that sounds different enough. Like I did the Civilization games, the two Beyond Earth games, and they were very spacey. I've just done the Interstellar Space Genesis for the Praxis games, which is a very spacey soundtrack. Trying to what I've done recently. Quite honestly, I haven't done a ton since the Mario Rabbids DLC. So because I could have worked so hard the 2 years before that, I needed a bit of a break. So I've kind of had a light year almost. I've done a bit for done the Interstellar Space Genesis. I worked on a short animation for a guy from Rare who's now working in Hollywood called Michael Kaywood for Hero-mation, and it's a little short movie called The Wrong Rock, which we're kind of doing the festivals now. It will be out eventually. It's just not quite out for people to see yet. What else have I done? A bit for Yooka-Laylee, for the new Yooka-Laylee game, which that doesn't sound like Banjo, I don't think. I think Chicken Wiggle thing, he wanted it to be half the tune was the original melody from the Chicken Wiggle game, but then it add in some Banjo-Kazooie-esque stuff, so I did a bit of that. I'm actually working on a mobile phone game right now, which won't sound like Banjo at all, for a friend of mine. So, I don't know. I mean, I think, I always feel like if you've had something that's been massively successful in your career, people will always associate with that. I mean, and rightly so, Banjo is a big success, and quite honestly, for a composer to get any degree of success whatsoever is a special thing, right? So I don't mind if people think I'm the Banjo composer till the day I die. I really don't care about that. I mean, that's fine with me. I'm not the kind of composer that wants to, distance themselves from it. I mean, I'm happy that people like anything that I do. Even one tune, I'm happy. One note, I'd be happy with that. So I don't really feel like that. I don't mind. Some people prefer Donkey Kong 64 to Banjo-Kazooie. Some people love GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. So I just think Banjo's got such a degree of loyalty. I mean, it's funny because like GoldenEye sold nearly, almost, I think double what Banjo sold. But I don't really get remembered for that. I mean, a little bit. But Banjo, I think it's something about that game it's stayed in people's minds for 20 odd years. It's a bit weird.
Oh, it has. I mean, I played GoldenEye so much with my friends, and just the happy slapping mode is what you'd always end up playing. So you go around shooting each other, and then when you run out of knives or whatever, you just go for the chop.
Right.
And you just. But then back then, and everybody's faces from Rare was generated into it, and back then you didn't really kind of like click, and now you look back and you think, oh my god, the amount of times I went around slapping Grant Kirkhope and Greg Mayles and all that, and you think I feel really bad now, but then should I?
Well, I don't know. Like, as I say, I've got my little rehearsed speech, but it's a bit like for any artist of any persuasion, like writer, musician, photographer, you name it. For anybody in the world to like something that come out of your head is amazing. Even if it's one person, it's amazing, right? So the fact that a few people like the stuff that I do, whatever that is it never gets old to me. That does. I never take that for granted. I think it's such a special thing, something that I dreamed up whatever day it was. Someone likes. I think that's amazing. I just think it's amazing.
So Rory now, he asked, how has your week been after E3, and when are you next going to Australia? Because he's Australian, so.
Good question. No, so E3 was crazy. Like I didn't expect it to be like that. Like I sat on that Tuesday morning just like everybody else waiting for it to start because I hadn't seen the trailer either, and I had to coordinate with Nintendo because Nintendo like it to be very organised. I mean, rightly so. So I said, I want to tweet something out. So, well, can you send us what you're going to tweet? So I had to send them what I was going to tweet weeks in advance, and that little video that I did of me with Banjo-Kazooie talking to it. So I sent them that, and they okayed it. But they said, you can't do any tweeting until it's up on the Smash website, which might take a little while. So I was like, I guess the announcence was like about 9:45, was it? Something like 9:40?
Yeah.
Something like that. Well, my time. That was my time, so it was 9 o'clock here. But I had to wait until I got the okay. So my Twitter was just going ballistic. People were going, did you do it? Did you do it? It sounds like Grant. And I couldn't reply. I was like, oh my God, So I had to wait until it was like 11 o'clock when I got the okay to tweet. So that's when I tweeted out, surprise, surprise, and did a little video and all that, and I could finally comment. But so that was like a massive pent up thing. So people were going crazy, and I was like sitting there going, oh my God, I want to tweet, So
Well, talking of that video, and you turned around, you went to your computer, you played the music, and then you turned around and you said Banjo-Kazooie, we're home. And to pay homage to that, I am wearing this T-shirt with the official artwork of Banjo-Kazooie and with the words, we're home,
that's
on the
awesome.
bottom there as well for you.
I need one of those. That's awesome. Yeah. That was
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want that, send me an email of your address and your shirt size, and I will send one to you.
All right, that's a deal. That's a deal.
Absolutely. I'm a man of my word.
No, yes, I'd love it. I was trying to do a little, my little Star Wars homage thing. That's what I was trying to do, you know, with where Han Solo and Chewie going to the Millennium Falcon and saying, we're home, Chewie, you know. I did that.
Well, it was one of them iconic moments from the film, and it did get mixed reviews as well, and I watched it and I enjoyed it, and it just did seem like, you know, that whole New Hope thing. But when, you know, Han Solo and Chewbacca actually came onto it, you could feel the passion there, kind of thing. Even if he wasn't actually feeling it, he would probably have the gun held to his head to say, look, we need you to come on to this film. Can you please shoot it for us?
Yeah.
But when you turn around with the figure, and I cannot find that anywhere. I've looked on eBay, I've looked on Amazon, I've looked all sorts of places. You cannot get that figure that you've got there, unless it's like $600.
Those? I don't even know where I got it from. I'm sure I've got my son's got a couple as well. I don't know if someone gave it to us, or I don't know whether it was one of those things that got made back in the day and Rare said, don't like it, and we all got one, but they didn't make any more. It might have been that. I don't know. I don't know where I got it from.
Well, this T-shirt was made from my friend Paco, and he's another big fan of yours as well. So I'm going to get him to make a couple of these, and I will send one to you when you give me your...
And also, the Australian thing. I had been to Australia once. We went on our honeymoon. It must have been like 2000, something like that. We went to Adelaide. Was it Adelaide? Adelaide, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Sydney, I think we went to. So we have been there quite a long, I guess nearly 20 years ago now.
Well, I suppose the biggest question that we can ask for this now is, as a good follow-up question, is when can we be expecting a Banjo-Kazooie symphony, and would you compose it in the Sydney Opera House? And I'll tell you what, I would definitely fly halfway across the world to see that.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know about that. I feel like that Banjo Land piece from Banjo Nuts and Bolts is like a 7-minute compilation of lots of pieces from the game. And funny enough, there's actually going to be a concert in LA, which has not been announced yet, but I guess I can tell you, with some friends of mine. It's going to be happening in September here in LA at the Henry Ford Theatre, and I am going to be playing some Banjo-Kazooie music with an orchestra. But several composers. There's me, Austin Wintry, there's Lena Rain from Celeste, there's I think Jake Carpenter's going to do so. It's a few composers together. We're all doing it together. We've got our own little segment. We get like 20 minutes each. We're going to do a little talk about how our process works, and we're going to play the music. So I've already submitted a banjo piece for that. I know Austin's doing his journey stuff. So it's going to get announced very soon. Like I'm thinking in the next week or so. So if you want to get a plane ticket to LA for September at the Henry Ford Theatre.
September.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. I might have to quit my job for that. Otherwise, I won't have a job when I get back. They'll just turn around and say, Mike was supposed to come in today, wasn't he? Well, he's not here, is he?
Just take a sickie, right? Take a sickie.
And then they see me, hey, I'm in LA. Oh, they'll love that. They really will. All for a good cause, of course.
Right.
So, well, thank you very, very much, Grant, for coming up for this interview. I know you've been very, very busy, and I'm sure you've got an interview coming up with Game Over Jesse very, very soon as well. So I wish you all the best with that as well. He's a good friend of ours too. And as always, Barry from Impact Game Station says hello as well. He's a good friend of ours too. And we just hope you just keep on, doing what it is that you do. It's just, wow, I'm lost for words, really. And I'm fanboying right now. And, oh, yes, of course. Just before we stop, the whole Sora Sakurai, he responded to your tweet. That's pretty intense.
Couldn't believe that. Like, when he tweeted something out, sort of saying it was the first time with a Western composer and all that, and I kind of replied thinking he wouldn't read it all. But when he replied to me in English, and, because I know he doesn't speak very good English, I was absolutely blown over. Because I know he's a very private guy. He doesn't really like to do stuff like that. And when I was working with doing the Smash piece, I would send my piece to Nintendo, and they would send it to Bandai Namco, who do the game, and him. They give feedback to Nintendo, and then put it in English and tell me about it. So I never got to speak to them directly. So the fact they even acknowledged me, I was like, oh my, and that it was one of those weeks where things just kept happening. The game got announced, people went crazy, my Twitter went ballistic. He tweeted at me, and then I went to the Nintendo booth at E3 and met some guys there, and all that thing. It just was that thing where what's going to happen next? So that was super special. I've got a little, I've got that tweet on my phone with a little picture of it, because that, for me, that's, he's the man that makes that game. And I feel like Smash is a real kind of, it's a Hall of Fame, right, of all the best game characters ever, right? I feel like it's like, I think the Banjo...
in what other game can you play where you have Mario who can fight against Sonic or Pac-Man or now even Banjo as well? I mean, what's next? Are we going to have Spyro the Dragon or Crash Bandicoot? Who knows? But being able to do this...
Well, I guess I've got 2 more to go, right? Is there 2 more to go for the DLC?
There are 2 more to go. It's not been announced which ones are yet, but it'll be interesting to see. And who knows? Well, we've got to wait until fall of 2019 anyway for the Banjo-Kazooie, and we've got the Dragon Quest Hero coming in summer.
Yeah.
So, there's still so much content for the game. And with the DLC, well, we just know there's going to be some new Banjo-Kazooie spirits. They did it with the Joker, who recently released in Smash Bros. From the Persona series.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some spirits. It'd be really, really cool if we get to see some recurring characters from the Banjo series in the background of Spiral Mountain. I mean, we saw Gruntilda in the video, and there was Bottle. So perhaps they can do something with the stage. Maybe they'll change the stage up a little bit. Who knows?
Like, I wonder if I've been seeing Grunty fly around. I thought when I saw the fighting stage, that wasn't there when I saw it. And like, so when I saw her flying around, I was like, oh my God, is she going to be there? That's fantastic as well. I mean, and I loved it when King K. Rool falls down and makes a hole in the thing, and the rock comes down, just like in the Banjo game. I thought that was
right from the end of the first game, yes, and it was a really, really great homage to that. And then you see Banjo falls on top of it and like stumbles.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, they do such a good job of those trailers. I mean, I was jumping out my skin just like everybody else was. It was amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Well, Grant, thank you so much for coming on this video. Thank you for participating in this interview. And thank you everybody at home for watching this video. If you'd like to see more of our content, then please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Miketendo64 Gaming. If you'd like to stay up to date with all our news, reviews, personal views, interviews, giveaways, and so much more, then please be sure to check out www.miketendo64. Also, be sure to check out and follow Grant on his Twitter as well. Grant, take it away. Where can people find you?
I'm at Grant Kirkhope, and I think I'm Grant Kirkhope Composer on Instagram too. So I'm getting used to Instagram, so, I'm a bit old. But yes, those are my 2 places.
Fantastic. And do you have anything to say to your loyal followers and fans and anybody who's happens to be watching this video?
I just thank you for still, cheering me along. I mean, I can't, to get to 20 or 24 years I've been writing music for video games. Like, it's amazing that people still bother with me, really. So thank you very much for everybody for still encouraging me to do it. Thanks. That stuff never gets old on me. I totally appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Bob. Thank you.